Just spent a bit talking about the rhetorical analysis. If you're looking ahead now on the summary paper, there's some key things on this one. First, before you really get into the summary, or maybe after you're done with this, go back and review to make sure you understand what we mean by key text. This is absolutely essential. You'll notice that on the assignment sheet there is a 20-point deduction if you are not using the appropriate text. And so if you're unclear about what the key text is or what texts are eligible as key text, make sure you've revisited that choosing text video because that covers that in detail. And remember that the text that you're using now for the summary should be the foundation that meets into your other assignments such as the summary response, the annotated bibliography, the synthesis. So let's take a look at the assignment, and we'll do as we did in the rhetorical analysis. We'll take a quick look at the Canvas page in which you find this, but mostly we'll pay attention to the assignment sheet and the sample summary. So here on the assignment sheet, very much like it will be in all assignments, you'll find some basic information about the assignment and a rubric or the breakdown of how things are scored, and then you'll have access to the assignment sheet and the sample. So let's take a look at the assignment sheet first. Note here that the summary is not a very long paper. 350 to 600 words gives you a play of just over a page, page and a quarter, and to about 2.5 pages or 3 pages. That, again, like all things in this class, it's submitted through Canvas. Now note here that the summary is a little bit of a deceptive title because there's 3 separate summaries that go on in this one. There's a large, a medium, and small. And that's because you're going to do multiple types of summary in academic writing. Extended summaries, such as an overview of an entire text, extended on that. Medium summaries, and little small one-sentence or quick phrase sentence. And so what I would like to see is how you can read a text, get to the main ideas, but continually reduce your focus depending on context. So, for example, your primary goal here is to write a coherent, unified, accurate, and objective of your key text. Again, you've selected your key text from the appropriate place. Now, each of your summaries should include key points made by the author, but exclude minor details. Summary is concentrating on the main ideas. The instructions for the first one are the longest because that's the longest part of this. It should be at least 250 words, so probably close to at least half of your assignment will be done with the large, probably more than half. Note here that you're going to have to make some decisions about what and how you summarize. And also note here that I'm asking you to include credentials about that author as available. So if your key text mentions that the author is an instructor of biomedicine at Carnegie Mellon, then that information needs to be included as you introduce the author. This one, you'll figure out how to organize it. You have a couple options, a point-by-point chronological order, or using your interpretive skills to ascertain, kind of present the author's main points. What do you think are the real main ideas of the paper, of the article? Note here the medium summary then is a condensed version of this, a single paragraph, maybe 2 to 5 sentences. So this one will be longer. It might be 2-3 paragraphs. You're going to a max of 125 words, not counting the title. And then finally, there's a small summary, a max of 55 words. Please take a minute to read over the general guidelines. There's important information here, including limiting how much quoting you do. If you do an excessive amount of quoting, it will affect your score poorly, in a negative way. And then, of course, what's very important is the summary is objective. You don't have any place within the summary to interpret in kind of making any form of judgment. Yes, you're going to do some interpretation in that you're distilling someone else's ideas into a smaller piece, but you're not doing interpretation in the sense that you're saying you agree with it, disagree with it, that it's problematic, or any of that stuff. You're just concentrating on being objective as possible, which means no first or second person voices. No I, we, me, you, your, those sort of pronouns. And remember, maintain a relatively formal tone, use grammatically correct, clear and grammatically correct writing. And as usual, you can look on the second sheet for a point-by-point breakdown of how your paper will be scored. This will match on the assignment. So now let's go and take a look at the sample summary. Okay, sorry if this is a little bit noisy. My computer is kicked on its fan, so you might be hearing some extra noise on the microphone. Here's a sample, and this particular sample has a few marks on it. But you should be able to notice the key aspects here, that there is the large summary which takes up the primary weight of the paper. Note that this is only 2 pages long, and over almost 1.5 pages are based on that first large summary. This large summary begins with an introduction to the article and the authors. One problem I have with this particular summary is that it doesn't tell me anything about the authors. Granted, sometimes that information isn't there, but in most academic articles, there is going to be something about who Robert Weiss and Charles Simoneau are. It uses limited quotations, which is good, only in places where there's need for clarity, and keeps primarily focused on the ideas of the paper. In fact, you'll notice here that it really focuses in this first paragraph in concentrating on what the main idea of the text is and then summarizing from there on, right? That they argue the need for research to assist in the prevention and treatment of problematic sexual behavior due to the ease of access of sexual online content. That tries to be the primary focus, and the rest of the paper follows that. You'll note here some comments that are made about the author's claim and Weiss and Simoneau speculate. This is an incredibly important detail, one that some people can miss and really can cost you. It must be clear at all points and all times in your writing where ideas come from, and using terms like speculate or claim or state. These are called attributive tags, something we will spend a lot more time on. Attributive tags always clarify the source of an idea, and that is absolutely essential skill. So practice it now. Whose ideas are they? Where did you find them? Because otherwise, if you just state the ideas without any statement of who provided them, right? Weiss and Simoneau assert, then what we are faced to assume is that these are your ideas and your analysis, which will break up the objectivity of the piece and confuse ideas. And as we'll talk later, it can actually lead to unintentional plagiarism. After you complete this, you have a couple options. You can rewrite a medium summary, or you can just cut away, copy and paste that first summary, and cut away the things in that first summary that are non-essential, that can help you cover the main parts in one paragraph. And then from there, you're going to do the same thing, where you're going to see if you can get all the key information, the main idea, into a single sentence. And that's the small summary. So you'll save all three of those together into a single document and submit that through Canvas. Again, remember to be objective, use attributive tags or these markers where you always clarify whose ideas belong to whom, and make sure you're comfortable with what a key text is and that you are using an appropriate key text for this. Thank you.